Alright, how's it going, guys? So if you clicked on this video, you want to learn how to lose body fat. You want to be lean, you want your six-pack to come out. If you're a girl, you want your waist to be tight for the summer. And this is what we'll be getting into right now. So without further ado, this is how you lose body fat. So as you can see here, this is when I was 16 to 17 years old. And I had a lot of fat in my midsection. Not that much chest definition here, as you can see. My face is very round and puffy, and this was due to me going to Denny's and eating what's called a fried cheese melt, which is a sandwich that is comprised of 2 mozzarella sticks and marinara sauce inside of it. Very tasty, but very calorically dense. And followed with that, I'd have a chocolate milkshake, and I'd eat a bunch of more food later on throughout the day. So it's kind of true when they say you are what you eat, because here I kind of look like a melting milkshake to what I am now. This is a recent picture of me, and as you can see, I've gotten pretty lean compared to what I was before, and this is all due to all the tips that I'll be sharing with you right now. So why should you even listen to me? So I got my master's in nutrition and dietetics, and I've been studying nutrition for 5 years. Plus, I still keep up with the latest research and studies. And most importantly, I practice it on myself. It's very easy to tell people to not eat certain foods, and this is how you should lose weight. But I've done it on myself, so I know the struggles and setbacks that I've had, and I've developed tips and tricks to make this as easy and seamless as possible. Even though this might be very easy, my first point is to stop being a little female dog. I'll be giving you the tips to make this as easy as possible, but you still need a little bit of discipline. You still need a little bit of willpower anytime that you're changing bad habits into good habits. The first few weeks are going to be challenging, but it's up to you to go through those challenges. If you're going in with the mentality of, oh, my genetics are what make me fat, I have a thyroid issue, I just can't give up cookies. This is the wrong mentality to have, and it will be very difficult to achieve anything if you have this type of mentality. So let's go to step number 1. So this is to be in a caloric deficit. So what a caloric deficit is eating less calories than what you burn. So basically, when you eat less calories than what you burn, the difference in calories is going to be taken from body fat. And you're probably asking, well, how do I even know how many calories I burn a day? So luckily we have the internet, and there's what's called a calorie calculator. So these calorie calculators, I would recommend to use a couple and take the average of them. So they'll generally ask you your age, your gender, your height, your weight, and your activity levels. Obviously, if you're exercising more, you need more calories than someone that's more sedentary. Or you could do it the good old-fashioned way and give yourself a certain number of calories and stick to that every day. And if you're not losing weight, you need to drop the calories. And if you are, then congrats, you're in a caloric deficit. So for example, if my BMR, which is my basal metabolic rate, which is how many calories I burn without doing anything, is 2,500 calories, and I eat 2,100 or 2,200, this difference, this space that you see here, this energy has to be taken from fat, because energy cannot be created or destroyed. So this energy that your body needs, it can't just be created out of nowhere. Your body has to take it from somewhere. So where is it going to take it from? You guessed it, your body fat. So this is the power of a caloric deficit. And the way you even know how many calories you're eating a day is by meal tracking. So back in the day, I loved using MyFitnessPal. I used it all the time, and it was very easy for me to track my calories. The only thing is that now they charge people $60 a year to use the barcode feature. Which, if you don't know what the barcode feature is basically being able to scan the barcode, and it will tell you how many calories the food has, grams of protein, carbs, fats, and it will just log it into your calories. So now you have to pay for that feature. This is why it gets a big thumbs down. Whereas Chronometer, it has a free barcode feature and is what I recommend to track your calories. So once you know how many calories you should eat a day, you've set up your caloric deficit. And when you're setting up your caloric deficit, I would not recommend anything more than a 500 calorie deficit. So for example, if the calories that you're supposed to eat is 2,500, I wouldn't recommend anything below 2,000. So you got your calories and you got your tracking app. Now I'll give you tips onto sticking to that caloric deficit. So step 1 is to increase your protein. So protein, the reason why it's so good on a diet is because it'll keep you full. So basically, the most important thing on a diet is staying full. And protein is the most satiating macronutrient. That means it will keep you the fullest compared to carbs and fats. If you don't believe me, eat a whole bag of chips and you'll notice that you'll still be hungry. But try to eat a whole bag of chicken breast. You'll find it very hard to wolf down all of that. And obviously, protein, when you're working out, it helps increase muscle mass by what's called protein synthesis. And protein is the most thermogenic macronutrient out of all of them, which means that when you eat protein, you're actually burning calories in digesting it. So this is a study substantiating my claim that a high protein diet is the most thermogenic compared to a high carb diet and a high fat diet. This means that your body is burning calories in trying to digest protein. Second is to get in the gym and start lifting. A lot of people make the cardinal mistake of just doing cardio in order to lose weight, which they will lose weight and they will lose fat, but you'll have a skinny fat physique, or you'll be either very skinny, and you'll have to drop your calories lower and lower as time goes on because your metabolism will go down as well. Because when you lift and you gain muscle, this increases your metabolism. This increases the amount of calories you burn at rest. So as you can see, Arnold here, when he's reading, he's burning more calories at rest than a very skinny person would. So get to the gym. Not only will it make you look better, but it'll make you feel better as well. You'll have that endorphin rush at the gym, and it's the best to change your body composition. And also, as you grow older, the more muscle you have, the more protection you have against falls and other things. So it's always good to have more muscle. Obviously, don't take steroids. And if you're a girl watching this, don't worry. If you lift weights, you're not gonna look like this. You're not gonna look like Dana Lynn Bailey. This is what happens when you take steroids as a woman and you work out at the same time. So if you're not taking steroids, you don't have to worry about looking like this. Trust me, you won't. Just go for a more healthy look. So the more muscle you have in your lower body, the more calories you'll be able to diet with, which is very important. All right, next is to sleep better. Sleep is very important on a diet because these hormones are what's called ghrelin and leptin. So these two hormones control your hunger. When your ghrelin is up, this is when you get all those cravings and you just want to eat donuts, chocolate, cookies. So when you don't get the right amount of sleep, this increases ghrelin and leptin. And also avoid drinking coffee after around 3 p.m. or depending on your bedtime, because this will interfere with your sleep as well. Plus, working out is very important because the more you work out, generally the easier it will be for you to go to sleep, because when you work out, you exhaust your body, and this will make it much easier for you to go to sleep compared to if you haven't done anything all day and you have all this pent-up energy. You haven't released endorphins, you still have more anxiety. This will make it harder for you to go to sleep. And then lastly, you could always supplement. You could take supplements. I made a whole video on sleep that you guys should check out, and which I named what supplements to take. But melatonin, you shouldn't take every day, but you could take it here and there. L-theanine, magnesium, lemon balm. There are a lot of sleep supplements that you could take. Don't take any pharmaceutical supplements. Let's try to keep it natural. So don't be taking prescription sleeping pills. That should be last resort unless you have serious insomnia. Next is to do cardio, because in cardio you're going to be burning a lot more calories compared to weight training. Weight training is good to build the muscle, but the thing that's most effective in burning calories is cardio. So this could be anything. Just try to do the cardio that you like the most. So it could be running, cycling. I love cycling because it's good on the knees. And for some reason, I've always hated running. But if you don't like any of these two, then you could go swimming, you could play basketball, you could box, you could dance, you could do jump rope. You can even walk. Walking is an amazing form of cardio. And you could do around 10,000 to 20,000 steps a day. Just find whatever cardio you like the most and stick to it. Next is hydrating. So you probably heard this saying that most of the times when you're hungry, you're not hungry, you're actually thirsty. And this is somewhat true because water takes up a lot of space in the stomach. And it's also good to hydrate yourself for proper gym performance, for the transference of nutrients throughout the body. This helps in digestion. There's so many benefits to drinking water, but when it comes to fat loss, the most important factor that water gives you is that it keeps you full. So try to aim for at least a gallon of water a day. And when I mean at least, I mean bare minimum. It should be a gallon of water a day. Some people might think this is drastic or this is over the top. Obviously, it depends on your size. If you're like 4'11", you shouldn't drink the same amount of water as someone that's 6'5". But for a general recommendation, aim to have at least 1 gallon of water a day. And next is to weigh yourself. It's important to keep track of your weight so you could have something to refer to see if you've been making progress. If you're not losing weight, then you're not in a caloric deficit. The only way you could be in a caloric deficit is if you're losing weight week by week. So don't really get worried if one day you weigh more than the day before. This could be a lot of factors such as hormones, water retention, you probably haven't used the bathroom, stress. A lot of things could affect your weight day to day, but you want to take the weekly average. So you could either weigh yourself and jot it down the old-fashioned way in a paper and pencil, or you could just jot it down on the notes app on your phone. Whichever is fine. But it's important to weigh yourself so you could keep data to see if your diet is working. And you want to aim to lose around 0.5 pound to 1 pound a week. If you're very, very, very obese, this could be 2 to 3 pounds a week because you just have a lot of body fat. But generally, you'd want to lose around 0.5 pound to 1 pound of body fat a week. All right, so next is intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting is basically fasting intermittently throughout the day. So you're not doing a full day fast. There's just a certain time period in which you do not eat, and then then you'll have a window that you'll be allowed to eat food. Personally, I've never had an eating window. I just try to push my breakfast as far as possible. So, for example, if I wake up at 8 a.m., I'll try to push my first meal for around 1 to 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. I'll just try to delay it as far as possible. Unless I'm extremely hungry, then I'll eat. So to make your fast easier, you could have black coffee. Obviously, if you put milk and sugar in it, this has calories, so you're not fasting. But if you just have regular black coffee, I put Splenda because Splenda doesn't have any calories and it makes it not taste terrible. And this will help you last throughout the fast. And you could also drink sparkling water because sparkling water also keeps you full because of the gas in it compared to regular water. So what you could do is drink black coffee and then sparkling water. And then when you have to eat, have a fruit like a banana or whatever fruit you choose and try to extend your fast for another hour or two and then have your first meal. Or you could choose not to do fasting altogether. If you're in a caloric deficit eating 5 meals a day, you'll still lose body fat. This is just making it easier for some people. This is just a tool to use in your toolbox. Personally, I don't fast every day. I just use it as a tool for some days when I want to be leaner than other days. The next is to take progress pictures. The reason why progress pictures are so important is because you see yourself in the mirror every day. So when you see yourself every day, you don't really notice the difference that you're making until you take progress pictures and you can see how far that you've come. So here, these two pictures were about 3 months out. If I wouldn't have taken this progress picture, I wouldn't have noticed the difference. I would have just thought that I've been looking the same. And this really gives you motivation, and it also gives you data to compare to previous. So make sure to take your progress pictures. Next is to eat nutrient-dense foods. So what nutrient-dense foods are foods that are low in calories and high in nutrients. So for example, chicken breast is relatively low in calories and has a lot of protein, has a lot of leucine. Blueberries are very low in calories and have a lot of antioxidants. Eggs are low in calories and have a lot of good fats, protein, and different minerals such as zinc, and it has vitamin D. Broccoli, strawberry, you get the point. Beans, protein powders. This should be the majority of your diet. This is not rocket science. And then next is to just not have trigger foods in the house. As I mentioned in the first slide, you need some willpower for your diet, but you don't want to rely on it. You want to use it just when you need to. But if you have things like ice cream, chips, cookies, candy in the house, this is going to drain your willpower. And your willpower should just be a special reserve that you have when you need it. But if you have all these foods in the house, you're just going to be constantly thinking about either donuts, chips, whatever it is. And your willpower will have to be over 9,000 to not eat that. So it's just better to not have it in the house. If you're a heroin addict, you're not going to have heroin in the house because you're going to do it. You're going to use it. So just don't have it in the house. Don't buy it. If you're really craving it, you have to go out in your car and go to the place to buy the food and eat it. And if you have to do all of that, then you really needed that food. All right, next is to avoid the sneaky healthy food. What I mean by that is there's some foods that people consider healthy but really are not. For example, veggie chips. Regular potato chips are veggie chips because potato is a vegetable. But anytime you fry it and then dehydrate it, this is going to lower the nutrient content and increase the amount of fats that it has, thus increasing the amount of calories. Same with bagels. Bagels have a ton of calories in them. And if you eat two, you'll probably be at like 600 calories. And granola is another one. Granola is packed of calories and sugar. Also juice. Guys, stop with the juice. The juice is not healthy unless it's the natural juice that you use a juicer to extract it. But any juice that you see from a carton is just pure sugar. It will be the same like a soda basically. And also flavored yogurt, that's not Greek yogurt. This is not healthy either. And yeah, obviously when you're dieting, you're going to be reading food labels, so you'll notice things like this. And next is to be busy. I don't know how many times I've eaten food when I'm bored, and you probably experience this as well. When you're bored and really not doing anything, you're in the house, you're watching Netflix, you're more likely going to eat something that you shouldn't because you're just bored. So what I actually do is when I'm experiencing something like this and I feel like I just need to consume something, make yourself a tea. This is a pretty cool trick, but yeah, make yourself some tea, and this will occupy space in your stomach because the name of the game is to make yourself full or to trick your brain that you're full. So anytime that you could trick your brain that you're full, this will help you on your diet. And now that I've been talking about dieting, is to have a refeed day. Have one day that you eat some of the foods that you've wanted. When I say this, I know some people are going to take it overboard and go and order a box of donuts and then have 10 pancakes within limits. Like, enjoy some of the foods that you have, but obviously don't be gluttonous and don't take it overboard, because if you go through a huge caloric surplus one day, this will undo all the work that you did the following week. So with this refeed day, you could have it once a week or once every 2 weeks. This will help reset the ghrelin and leptin levels, which again are the hormones that make you hungry. And then next, it's okay to be hungry sometimes. Sometimes, like, you're not always meant to be full. Us as animals, we evolved to have certain times that we wouldn't eat, that we'll be hungry. When I'm hungry, in my head, I'm just like, this is fat being used as energy. Obviously, if you're very, very hungry to the point that you think that you're going to faint, eat something. Yes, this is a no-brainer. But if you're a little bit hungry from time to time, this is okay. Like, you're not going to be super full all the time on your diet. This is why I like intermittent fasting, because there's a certain amount of time that I'm not eating, and at that time I'm being busy, I'm getting things done, I'm being proactive, I'm being productive. And then around 4 to 5 p.m. this is when I could have my first meal, and then it'll be pretty hard for me to go over my calories when I only have a certain amount of time to eat. And with that being said, is don't be too restrictive. Don't eliminate all carbohydrates. Don't go in too low of a deficit, because when you do this, you're more likely going to fall off, and then later you're going to binge and just undo all the progress that you've made. So don't be too restrictive. So if that means having one piece of chocolate at night, unless it's a trigger food, then don't have that in your house. Or having a little food that you enjoy here and there, this is not going to break your diet as long as you're following a caloric deficit. And then finally is just enjoy the ride. While you're getting leaner, you're going to feel lighter, you're going to feel better. You're going to see muscles that you didn't think were there before. Your face is going to change before your eyes. For example, let's see American Psycho Patrick Bateman. This is a fat version of his face made, but here you can see that his face is completely round. No chin, no jawline whatsoever. It's all just one big round blob. But as you start getting leaner, you'll notice different features that you would have never thought that you had. For example, you'll see like, oh wow, I actually have a nice jawline. Oh, I have this nice protrusion in my nose. I have these angles right here. My brow has this little angle here. Your face starts taking a more angular shape, which will make you more attractive. So just enjoy the ride throughout your diet, because there's a lot of things that are much harder, and just eating a little bit less food shouldn't be that hard. So I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you get lean.